The best moves in Street Fighter 6.
All right, so last time on here, I dropped my list of what I think are the 5 worst moves in the game. So today, we're going to go to the other end of the spectrum for what I think are the 5 best moves in the game. When it comes to the worst moves in the game, I think you can easily, like, transplant them onto any other character, and they would still be bad. So, like, if you gave Akuma Thunderstorm, for example, it would still be a terrible move. Like, I think it's much easier to rank bad moves because they would be bad on any character. But I found it much more tricky trying to kind of like appraise the best moves, because there are certain moves in this game that are like balanced against the rest of a character's tools. So for example, like Zangief's SPD isn't broken when it's like balanced against the rest of Zangief's kit, but if you gave Zangief's SPD to Rashid, you might have just ruined the game. So this one's a little bit more, I don't know, nebulous, but bear with me. And as always, if you guys think you found even better moves, let me know down in the comments. And with that being said,
the best moves, huh?
Down, starting with number 5. Speaking of Zangief, we're going to be starting with Zangief's level 3 super.
Yeah, 1000%. I hate that super, bro.
Zangief's level 3 super. I don't really have to explain much here, but it completely changes the risk reward against Gief, both offensively and defensively. Because the traditional like risk reward against Gief is like, if I block and he SPDs, I'm gonna lose like 33%. If I jump and he doesn't SPD,
he can reset you.
About 29%.
Yep.
Like this is generally the kind of risk reward you're dealing with against Gief defensively. But once he has access to level 3, this completely changes because now
you can just do a combo until level 3.
You're now potentially eating,
or you just do a level 3. 48%.
800. So now blocking could potentially lose you almost 50%.
And then if you get hit,
you decide to try and jump,
you lose more damage.
This
is so stupid.
This does even more, I think.
It's so stupid.
5,500.
Why?
So basically, if you're anywhere below 50% health, the moment that Gief stocks level 3, every single time he gets close to you, he's putting you in a 50-50.
Yep.
It's terrifying.
I hate it.
Block this character. So yeah, it makes his offensive pressure absolutely ridiculous. But I think what really pushes it into my list of top 5 is actually how good this thing is
defensively. Because you just wake up with that shit.
Like some of the worst defensive options in the game, right? He has no invincible reversal. His level 1 doesn't work as a wake-up option, and his level 2 is very slow. So Gief's defensive options in this game are pretty terrible across the board. But the moment that he ticks over and hits that
level 3, bro,
goes from having like
wake up super, bro, to the best
defense in the game. Because this super is completely unjumpable after the flash, which means that
frame 1
Gief might wake up with level 3. It means that you can't even really like
meaty or throw loop or anything. Yep, because it grabs you from mad far too.
Basic knockdown into like throw shimmy. If Gief just wakes up with level 3, this thing has actually got good range. You might have just lost the entire round. So every single time you attempt to pressure this character, if he wakes up with level 3 and you're doing anything but jumping or backdashing before the flash,
you lose.
It's over. You might have just lost. So yeah. This super is terrifying. It's very expensive, but it massively buffs his offensive pressure and his like defensive offense as well.
I agree. So, but I'm gonna be honest with you though, I really do feel like they shouldn't have gave him the ability to combo into level 3. I feel like that shit should just not be a thing.
Yeah, that's my number 5. Okay, let's move on to number 4. And number 4, I think, is maybe the one in the list which a lot of people will be confused by. I think the remaining 4 that I've got here are, most people would agree they're really good moves, but I think this one might come as a surprise to some people. They might be wondering what I'm cooking, so bear with me. Number 4 is a move belonging to Ed, and it's actually one of his normals.
Yep, do it.
Up to chat. What do you guys think? Which Ed normal do you think I'm going to put in here?
It's either standing medium kick or jumping medium kick. It's one of those two.
I think I've seen about 1 person out of 50 get this right. But yeah, this is why I think this is a surprising one.
Let me hear this.
I think the fourth best move in the game right now is this.
What?
It's a crouching light kick.
No way.
It doesn't. It's not flashy. That's why I think a lot of people are not really paying attention to this thing. This.
No. Let me look at this normal. Let me look at this normal real quick. I don't believe it. I don't believe it. Ed super combo. Let me look at this crouching light kick real quick. I need to know. Crouching light kick, hitboxes, 5 frames. It's pretty decent range. It don't got any recovery. It's +3 on hit.
It's absolutely cracked. So
explain it to me.
Kick on the surface doesn't look, you know, super obviously impressive. But I think as time has passed and the meta has developed a bit for this character, people are starting to realize how crazy this normal is. It's 5 frames startup, so it's slightly slower than his jabs. But in exchange, you get absolutely insane range for a 5 frame. Like, this goes really far.
I see.
And that makes it one of the absolute best punish moves in the game for moves that are like -5, -6.
Yeah.
And there are a lot of things in this game. Like, Street Fighter 6, if you guys don't know, this game is full of moves that are designed to be like -5, -6, but safe if you kind of space them. But Ed's crouch light kick has so many exceptions where he can just punish things that no other character in the game could punish.
Yeah, he could punish that. No one else really can punish that.
Is one of those really autopilot strings like that is basically safe to everything except for invincible reversals. It's designed to push you back to like this distance
where nothing reaches.
Won't reach. But like Ed,
crouching light kick reaches.
You know, fuck your safe ender. I'm punishing you into a knockdown. So another common
Bison
move is -5, but
scissors.
it's designed to be hard to punish unless you space it right. Bison scissors. So against 99% of the cast, Bison scissors is not punishable at this distance. It does too much pushback and it's only -5. Once again, Ed can kind of break the mold and gets full punishes off this. Now I think there's a few normals in this game that have similar range to Ed's crouch light kick. Like we just looked at Ken's stand light kick.
Luke's isn't bad either.
The way Ed stands out so much to me is not just the fact that it has huge range, but it's also a really, really good combo starter.
You don't even have to spend any meter. Yeah, you don't even, if you could just get a regular punish meterless, where other characters, they don't get that. He gets a whole desync combo if he spends the meter.
I guess that's too close to the corner for the full desync, but yeah, you can do some really good combos off this. And it's also relatively low risk because this buffer is safe on block. It's also a really good defensive poke. It's not just good for like punishing. You can just kind of sit back in the mid-range.
You counter poke with it too.
And buffer this thing. It has fairly low recovery. And if your opponent goes for like a YOLO drive rush or something, you can just buffer into like medium blitz. So just in general, really good poke, amazing punish tool. And it's often the start of a lot of momentum switches. If you watch high-level Ed gameplay, you will notice so many rounds. Now that I've said it, pay attention to where people's like control of the round shifts.
It'll be crouch and light kick.
Crouch light kick. All right, let's move on to number 3. This one's probably less controversial. I think most people would agree this button is insane. Now, I asked you guys to try and guess which button I meant for Ed. Now, I don't.
Oh my god!
Guessing what button I'm gonna go with now that I'm switching to Lily. It's not exactly controversial. This one, Lily's only button. Yeah, it's crouching heavy punch. You knew this was coming. Lily's crouch heavy punch is I think this normal alone,
that normal is stupid.
Single-handedly keeping Lily viable.
Yes.
I've never seen a character be carried so hard
by one button, bro.
This thing does everything for
you guys want to see the fucking hitbox on this bullshit? Dog, I hate this fucking normal, man. This normal is so busted, bro. Look at this shit. Look at this shit. Get ready. I got y'all right now. Look at this. Why is it like this? Brother. Homie. Bro, it's disjointed all the way down. You cannot whiff punish the button. You can't. It is impossible. I have no idea why it's built like this, man. At least make it whiff punishable when it reaches the ground, but like, come on, man.
So this does everything. As I said, it has a gigantic hitbox. I'll just show you guys the hitbox so you can see it. So as she swings the arc downwards, you'll notice that she has this absolutely gigantic disjoint hitbox above her head. Would you shut the fuck up, Bison? I'm trying to record. Bro, I hate how many characters yap in this game when they're AFK. Really keep it down, will you? Keep it in. All right, this is going in the final cut. Anyway, yeah, look at the state of this hitbox. And then once it comes down to like ground height on the next frame, it's just massively disjoint. There's all hitbox, no hurtbox on the end of this thing. So just as purely in terms of hitboxes, it is incredible. As I said, it has this giant hitbox above her. So it's also an amazing anti-air as well as a poke. So this thing will also anti-air, and the anti-air hitbox even goes behind her head.
Fucking sword normals, man.
Cross up. Like, it's very rare for normals to hit this far behind your head in this game, but Lily's just does. And not only that, as well as this thing having an amazing hitbox for an anti-air, if it counter hits, which it will a lot of the time, you even get juggles afterwards on anti-air, which is ludicrous.
What is that?
So yeah, you can get big combos for anti-airing with her best anti-air normal. I think you get even more near the corner. Let me just... Which is insane. Casual 50% for trying to jump at Lily off her best anti-air normal. So it's an incredible poke. As I said, it's also special cancelable. So like all of her combos can be started from this. Once you've got wind charges, you just buffer into, you know, Condor Spire and get free plus frames.
Yeah, you don't even think.
The last thing about this normal, before I forget, this normal does a shitload of block stun, and it's one of those rare normals where if you drive rush cancel it, you actually recover in time to block reversals. This is a really important thing at high level. If you watch Hibiki play, Hibiki the Beast, the best Lily player in the world, he does this all the time. So Street Fighter 6 kind of has like a defensive option select you can do, where if your opponent does a drive rush cancel off a normal, you can just go for EXDP. And the way it works is that if they just do like drive rush into a jab, it's a true block string.
Yeah, the DP will not come out.
But if they try and go for a frame trap, then you die.
Yeah.
This is a very common like defensive option select in this game. However, Lily can completely ignore this option select because, like I said, her crouch fierce does 10 years of block stun, so she can do this.
She can just option select the whole time. Yep.
There aren't many characters in the game that can do this. I think there's only like a small handful of heavies which let you block in time after a drive rush. So you can't even use that option select against Lily.
Yep, you can literally just react.
Yeah, so like I said, no character in the game is as reliant on a single button to do everything as Lily, so I had to just give her the number 3 spot.
What's number 2?
All right, number 2 spot,
I'm curious.
We are gonna go to Ken.
Ken.
You might expect
Jinrai? Or low forward?
I'm gonna talk about Jinrai.
Low forward?
You might have assumed Jinrai time was coming. It's not Jinrai. It's the thing that makes Jinrai a problem. It's the secret...
Low forward? Or stand fierce?
Yeah, it's Ken's stand heavy punch.
Okay, yeah.
This is the real reason why...
Because stand fierce, 5 frame active. Oh my god.
Stand fierce is 10 frame startup, which is pretty good. Has a really nice extended hitbox in front of him. It's -2 on block, so it's completely safe. And it only has 17 recovery frames, which not a lot of people have mentioned, but I think it's worth pointing out. This thing on whiff has like the same amount of recovery frames as like a medium. Like his stand fierce has 17 frames of recovery.
Why?
His crouch medium kick has 19 frames of recovery. Like this,
make it make sense, bro.
This medium right here has more recovery than this heavy, which is kind of crazy. So it's very difficult to whiff punish. For some unknown reason, this button also has 5
active frames.
So even though it's -2 on block, it's like the easiest thing in the world to make plus after a knockdown.
Now it's plus
yeah,
one.
There you go, +1. It's just cruise control.
You drive rush that shit at 5 frames.
You don't even really need reliable frame kills for this thing. You just press stand fierce as they're getting up, and you get a meaty. Special cancelable. So if you were thinking of trying to counter it with like DI, for example, then good luck.
You can just do DI back.
That was cool. I wasn't expecting the same frame trade, but cool. Yeah. So it's special cancelable. You can use it in combos. It's a great buffer into drive rush. This move does about half a bar of drive gauge damage on block, which is fairly normal for a heavy. But the reason I think that it deserves its own mention is because this string exists.
Jinrai!
Stand fierce into medium Jinrai.
Oh my god.
By the way, there is no gap.
Can't parry.
Between stand fierce and medium Jinrai.
And you can just walk up and throw you.
Before the stand fierce,
you're stuck in parry frames.
And that means that if you do this whole string into Jinrai low, this can absolutely shred
drive gauge
for relatively little risk. Most characters can't punish this. At max range, no characters can punish this. The only option is that some characters can interrupt in the middle with an EXDP. But if you don't have an invincible reversal, or you don't want to spend 2 bars of drive, this buffer alone can probably carry you straight to master rank. Like, I'm not exaggerating. If you wanna go straight to master rank as quickly as possible, just do this.
What a broken goddamn block string.
Because this string off stand fierce does over a bar of drive damage. But what really makes it obnoxious is that it's quite a slow string, and during the entire thing, Ken is also regenerating his own drive gauge. So it can cause massive swings in drive control very quickly. Like, watch what happens here. I'm gonna set myself to, let's say, 3 bars of drive, and my opponent is at 6 bars of drive. So in this situation, I'm at a 3 drive deficit. Watch what happens when I press stand fierce into medium Jinrai. I gained over a bar of drive for doing that low risk string, and my opponent lost over a bar. So effectively, like, the total swing in drive, it went from me being at a 3 bar deficit
to even, almost even.
Roughly the same.
Yeah.
Which is crazy in this game. Like, being able to just immediately reverse the drive positions off a pretty safe buffer is very, very unusual. So yeah, I think this button is the one that is like the linchpin that is keeping Ken extremely strong in this game. Anyway, it's time for us to move on.
Number
to
1.
What I believe to be the single
best move in the game.
I don't think this is remotely contentious. I think everyone should agree with me, and if you don't, then you are an individual with your own thoughts and feelings. I can see the exclamation mark Rashid spamming chat. Yeah, what else would it be?
Yeah.
What else would it be?
Great Desert Storm! Great Desert Storm! Stupid ass goddamn move, bro. Oh my god, bro. Bro, come on.
Capcom.
Dog, why is this move a thing, man? This fucking dumbass. Dude, this character gets to literally lose the game. Have 2 bars, hit you 1 time, then gets level 2, and now you just can't play anymore. God, bro, what a terrible goddamn super to have in a game that's supposed to be about neutral, right? Like, come on.
So, this super gives Rashid total dominant control over the screen for the next 5 to 10 seconds, just by having 2 bars of super. Characters have like 0 answer to it, and the few that do, there's a small number of characters that do have like anti-projectile moves. They usually still have to take huge risks to try and get through this thing. As far as I know, the only character in the entire game who has a somewhat reliable option to this is Bison's EX.
Bison.
What's it called? Psycho Crusher. So let's talk about like how to deal with this thing, because once it's out, Rashid basically gets 2 to 3 throw attempts on you, and there's not a whole lot you can do about it. Because here's the thing, if you don't feel like blocking and you decide to try and tech the throw, then let's just see what happens in that scenario.
You can't do anything because the fucking wind is still up and it doesn't go away. You get shimmied, you lose. You lose about like almost 70%. If it's optimal. Yeah, 60%.
Thanks for playing. That'll teach you for attempting to tech the throw. That's not even max damage. Like, I don't know the super optimal
Yeah,
stuff.
the optimal shit is 70%.
On jump fierce. That's just like something I shat out in 15 seconds. And that still did 60%. So that's the thing. Like, if you try to be as risk averse as possible and accept that you're going to have to take the throw, you're probably still going to lose over 30% of your health. Like,
and you lose a lot of drive gauge, man.
That's why this super is so crazy, because like once your health gets below a certain point, it's kind of just round over. There is so little counterplay to this damn thing. Even if you manage to make all the correct defensive decisions,
you still lose drive gauge.
Gauge is gonna get absolutely obliterated by this thing. Your reward for perfect defense here.
Bro, this is DNF duel, man.
Is losing half of your drive
gauge, yeah.
Like, best case scenario, you lose 3 bars of drive.
Absolutely ridiculous.
Being, like, perfect on defense. You can't even drive, like, none of you, I can't stress enough that none of your defensive options even work here. Like, you can't even drive reversal this thing.
Because then you get hit by the tornado because it doesn't go away. And then he gets a combo. Dog.
There you go.
He still gets 50%.
Use the defensive mechanics that the game gives you. You also lose 55% of your health. You can't even DP through this damn thing.
Nope.
Like, I can't. Like, even if you're one of the characters that has an
invincible reversal, you still get hit.
If you're one of those characters,
you still get hit.
It will not work.
And then you still lose 55%. That makes sense.
So yeah, none of your defensive options are going to help you deal with this situation, and a lot of the time they're going to get you killed even faster. So like I said, that's just going over the offensive utility of this.
Oh,
super.
man.
It just gives Rashid total control over everything while it's active. But defensively, this thing is also amazing as well.
Bro, defensively, he can use the goddamn tornado to make his DP a get out of jail free card. Like, completely get out. You can't even punish it.
Because here's another common scenario, right? This is a thing that Rashid players will do all the time. Something like this, right? A Rashid player massively overextends. They spend a ton of drive, and then they get a throw on you.
And then they do level 2.
1 bar of drive. And you think to yourself, okay, well, I took a throw, but maybe this isn't too bad because the Rashid player just spent a ton of
drive gauge.
Decent position. And then this happens.
Great Desert Storm!
See what I mean? You thought you were in a decent spot. All he has to do is activate level 2, and now he can just safely let all of his drive come back while also obliterating your drive. It's crazy. Even in Burnout, you see this all the time as well. Like, sometimes Rashid players will burn themselves out.
The shit is still on the screen.
Okay, I'm in a decent spot now. They've burned themselves out. And then they just activate level 2. And now there's nothing you can do
while they gain their meter back.
The timer is recovering.
Yep. And
they do something like this. And they manage to regenerate like 60% of the burnout timer while doing, like, taking no risk whatsoever. Actually, speaking of drive gauge damage, one thing I have noticed recently is a lot of Rashid players have started doing this. They're not even activating from full screen anymore. Sometimes they'll just do crouch fierce activate up close. And even just doing this, look how much drive gauge damage something like this does to the opponent. If you're not already parrying before the activation... Corner carry on block too. So yeah, I don't know what else to say at this point. This super does everything.
They gotta nerf that shit.
Combo tool, a godlike pressure tool, a
godlike defensive tool.
Capcom save our souls.
They gotta nerf Rashid, bro. They gotta nerf this character, dude. Like, real talk. Like, Capcom, come on, man.
Capcom.
Like, you gotta just get rid of this dumbass level 2, bro. It's not good for the game, in my honest opinion. It literally has no downside, man. Well, who knows what Capcom wants to do, man? Who knows?